Hello class 7 students, welcome back to the history class. Today we are going to start chapter 5, Towns, Traders and Craftsmen. Learning objectives. Varieties of urban centers, cities. Growth of trading class, types of urban centers. Let's warm up. Identify the following famous buildings, statues of India. Application skills. Hampi is located on the banks of the river Tugabhadra in the northern Karnataka. It was the capital of the Vijayanagar Empire, founded in 1336. It was also called Vijayanagar and Virupaksharpura. It is surrounded by the river on one side and by granite edges on the other three sides, which made it a well-defined capital city. Because of its location, it was chosen as the capital. The magnificent ruins at Hampi reveal a well-fortified city. Now, answer the following questions. A. Where is Hampi located? B. What was the ancient name of Hampi? C. Why Hampi was chosen as a capital? Look out for these answers by yourself. Variety of urban centers and cities. The discovery of agriculture prompted early men to settle near his fields. Thus was laid the foundation of villages. When more and more people began to settle in these villages, gradually many of these developed into towns. With the passage of time, due to the activities of the rulers, religious persons, craftsmen, and traders, some of these towns flourished. They flourished as court towns or capitals, some as pilgrimage centers, some as port cities, and some others are trading towns and cities. Some of these towns were founded by different ruling dynasties, while others grew by themselves as a result of the trading activities. Not only this, some of these towns were ravaged by the vengeance of nature or invaders, while others continued to flourish, and we can see them even today. Fact file. A town is commonly defined as a living place where people, instead of farming, are engaged in different types of activities to earn their livelihood. Let us try to analyze the different categories of these towns and cities and trace the origin of some other towns. Types of urban centers. Court towns or capitals. Rulers built new cities as their capitals and rebuilt old ones. The administrative capitals of the Delhi Sultans and Mughal emperors like Agra, Delhi and Lahore grew into thriving cities. New towns were founded by the Delhi Sultans, their nobles and the rulers of provincial dynasties. Delhi itself was transformed several times from Siri to Tughlaqabad to Shahjahanabad to become the most imposing capital in the east. Muhammad bin Tughlaq built his new capital at Daulatabad in 1327 CE. Firuz Shah Tughlaq built many cities including Firuz Shah Kotla in Delhi, Firozabad and Jaunpur 1359 CE. Akbar built Fatehpur Sikri near Agra and built a fort at Allahabad, Prayag near Banaras, now Varanasi. The capitals of regional kingdoms also grew into important urban centers like Ahmedabad in Gujarat, built by Sultan Ahmad Shah in 1411 CE, and Vijayanagar, Hampi. Pilgrimage centers. Some of the towns developed as pilgrimage centers. The chief among them are Kurukshetra, Sanchi, Sarnath, Bodh Gaya, Haridwar, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Mathura, Allahabad, Banaras, Jagannath Puri, Bhubaneswar, Dwarakapuri, Sringeri, Delhi, Fatehpur Sikri, Ajmer, Nankana Sahib, Amritsar and Patna, etc. This is the picture of Kedarnath temple. Commercial towns. Commercial towns developed along important trade routes. Gradually, these commercial towns were linked by roads. Sher Shah Suri repaired the ancient imperial road which connected Sonargaon near Dhaka to Peshawar in the northwest. Many of the sarais built along the road became commercial towns. Later, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir and his successor allowed the European traders to establish trading settlements at places like Surat, Mumbai, Puducherry, Chennai, Kolkata and Masulipatam. Gradually, they developed into thriving commercial towns. Port towns. Since India developed overseas trade, with Southeast Asia, West Asia, China and Europe. Port towns like Surat, Broj and Kembe in Gujarat, Calicut and Cochin in Kerala, Masulipattnam in Andhra Pradesh and Sonargaon and Chittagong in Bengal cater to foreign trade. Trading towns. Almost all foreign travelers like Wasaf, Yalroot, Idrisi, Marco Polo, etc. confirm that Indian merchants were very busy in inland and sea route trade. They went to western countries and China through the new land routes, while through the sea routes they visited Arabian, African and European countries on the west and southeastern countries in the east. As such a large number of trading towns also came up, among them the most important were those of Multan, Lahore, Delhi, Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Patna, Dhaka, Anhilwada, Champaran, Burhanpur in the west, Tamralipti, Bengal, Ahmedabad, Masulipattnam, Rajmawad in the east, Ahmednagar, Goa, Daman, Diu, etc. Growth of trading class. Traders and craftsmen. Both the traders and craftsmen have a great part to play in the economic activities of the country. Indian craftsmen were perfect masters in producing articles of different kinds and that too of good quality. They were perfect masters in the field of textile industry and their cotton, woolen and silk cloth had no comparison in the world. Indian craftsmen had great mastery over the manufacture of both silk and leather goods. This is the image of silk saris. The art of making metals was pursued with great success during the period 800 to 1707. Both the ironsmiths and the goldsmiths produced the most fascinating quality products. The Indian traders took these manufactured goods as well as agricultural goods like spices to distant lands and helped India become rich. Scholars say that the present-day town of Tamluk in West Bengal is the site of Tamra Lipti. The present town is located on the banks of the Rupnarayan river close to where it flows into the Bay of Bengal. Both the Indian craftsmen and traders had organized themselves into their own guilds, which not only helped them in times of need but also helped them to produce different articles of good quality so that no country could match them in the field of internal and external trade. Case study: Hampi. The capital city of Vijayanagar Empire was known as Vijayanagar in medieval times. It is today a part of Karnataka state and is known as Hampi. It is located in the Krishna Tugabhadra basin. The Vijayanagar Empire was founded in 1336 and lasted for almost 200 years. The ruins of the city reveal that it was a fortified city. In the construction of the fort, walls, wedging technique by interlocking the logs together was used. No cement or mortar was used. The splendid architecture of Hampi has been praised by many travelers. It was studded with many temples, forts and palaces. The buildings in the royal complex had used arches, domes and pillared halls. There were niches on the walls for holding sculptures. The members of the royal family and many rich people had their residences in garden complexes and orchards. They contained sculptural motifs such as the lotus and corbels. The empire had its own fleet. This is the image of stone chariot Vithala temple, Hampi, remains of the busy and prosperous market of Hampi. Own fleet of ships. Besides coastal trade, inland trade also prospered. A Muslim scholar, Abdul Razak, noted that there were about 300 ports, including the port of Calicut on the west coast, which maintained trade links with the countries of Abyssinia, Portugal, South Africa, Arabia, Persia, Malaya, and China. It has been said about Hampi, if dreams were made out of stone, it would be Hampi. Hampi is full of surprises like the king's balance, where kings were weighed against grain, goods or money, which was then distributed to the poor. Masulipattnam. Masulipattnam, also known as Machilipatnam, get its name from the gateway to the city decorated with the eyes of fish, machli. It was founded in the 14th century by the Arabs. Masulipattnam was a port from where the French, British and Dutch traded during the 17th century. It was a prime production center of fine chintz which was much in demand in the Southeast Asian markets. A royal order from the Qutub Shahi ruler permitted the Dutch to establish a factory at Masulipattnam. Situated in the Bay of Bengal, Masulipattnam is the administrative center of the Krishna district in the state of Andhra Pradesh. This town is a railway terminus and an important educational center. This port city is known for its fishing, trade, carpet weaving industry and for scientific instruments. Other products include agricultural produce of India. Masulipattnam was and even today is famous for its kalamkari art. This kalamkari technique derives its name from the Russian word kalam or pen-like tool used to draw outlines on the cloth and kari means work. Thus, kalamkari meant the work done by kalam. In its heyday, this port used to handle export of different items weighing more than 2.7 lakh tons and imports of 37,000 tons. Surat. Surat was an important port and trading town during the Mughal period. It was the gateway for trade with West Asia via Gulf of Hormuz. It was famous for all kinds of cotton textiles. Fine cotton textiles with zari borders were exported to markets in West Asia and Europe. In the 17th century, the Portuguese, Dutch and English had their factories and warehouses at Surat. According to the English chronicler Ovington, on an average, 100 ships of different countries could be found anchored at the port at any given time. In 1573, the Portuguese traveller Duarte Barbosa described Surat as an important seaport, frequented by many ships from Malabar and various parts of the world. During the reign of Akbar, Jahangir and Shah Jahan, Surat rose to become a chief commercial city of India as the major port of the west coast of India. Surat also served as the port for Hajj to Makkah. In 1664, the Maratha king Shivaji attacked Surat as it was a Mughal power center and a wealthy port town which generated ₹1 million in taxes. The prosperity of Surat received a fatal blow when Bombay was ceded to the British as part of the dowry for Catherine of Braganza's wedding to Charles II in 1662. Surat was sacked again by Shivaji in 1670. By 1687, the British East India Company had moved the presidency to Bombay. The British took control of Surat again in 1759. It is also known as the diamond capital of the world. 92% of the world's diamonds are cut and polished in Surat. Think smarter. How did Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai see their rise in the 18th century? Value and life skills. As we know, crafts involve skill in making things by hand. A kid should try crafts because it helps children focus and develop their fine motor skills. Can you tell some other importance of crafts? Recapitulation. Towns in the medieval period flourished as court towns or capitals, pilgrimage centers, commercial towns, port towns and trading towns. Court towns of the Mughal period included Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Delhi and Lahore. Sarnath, Haridwar, Mathura, Dwarka, Puri, Ajmer, Amritsar were major pilgrimage centers. The commercial and port towns came into prominence as a result of product made in those regions or because of nearness of ports and trading centers. Hampi was an important center of the cotton and spice trade. Masulipattnam was a prime production center of fine chintz. For centuries, Surat has been known as center of trade and textiles. Thank you, class. Let's meet in the next class.